Okay. Food, Agriculture, Natural Resources Policy Analysis Network. Dr. T. Mazivandira, who is the CEO and Head of Mission. Let's give him a round of applause. Again. Thank you, sir. Red tie. Trump mission.
When I was leaving home, I was told that a red tie symbolizes leadership. Colleagues, I will observe protocols later in my speech. But let me say the one wabonaya. So the body who are Chipita, Chantaka Shumo, Natampe Dewa. Mushumana Dakawal, the Chimbera Zuwu, Africa, Naumel. The Pumazinji, what about Bauru, Varakanova, Machifanicha, Mazibali. So, no Bizwa, Mazino, Pamanopat. So, Muchumshamushuman, Kolewa, Mbranga Vuani, Dado Mangara, Aredo Baru. Coming now to what I've been invited here. There are two things that I would want to touch on. The first one is to congratulate UNIVEN on the IC4Net project. The success it had, and I believe through the non-successes, they've learned some lesson from those. Number two, which is very much important, and which if I get back to the office without that paper, I consider myself being fired by Board of Governors. And this second part that I will want to touch on is the memorandum of understanding that we are finalizing with the University of Venda UNIVEN. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I am greeting you from FANRPAN, which is a Pan-African policy think tank. Maybe you might be wondering, what is this organization with a very long name, but to make it easier for you, we are normally called FANRPAN. FANRPAN is a Pan-African policy think tank where we are trying to make sure that the research evidence generated by various research institutions, various academic institutions, make its way to make sure that it's informing decisions and policies. And for your information, the institution was formed through a gazette, which was called through a call by ministers of agriculture, both in Southern and Eastern Africa. So this was back in 1994. And currently, since 2010, we have got now a mandate to implement programs and projects across Africa. And I'm glad to say that we are now in 17 African countries where we are implementing projects on the ground. The mandate of FANRPAN is based on 3 strategic objectives. The first one, we conduct demand-driven policy analysis and research. This is to generate evidence to make sure that when we go and talk to issues that need to stimulate policy change, is based on evidence. Number 3, we are about building the capacity of both institutions and individuals. This is to make sure that those that are generating the evidence must package the evidence in a proper manner to make sure that it's getting used. From the demand side, we are making sure that those that are supposed to receive the evidence are able to use the evidence to inform their decisions and policies. And the third area which we operate in, we do stimulate policy dialogue through our policy advocacy strategy, which is about having a proper message, having messengers to carry the message, and presenting those messages in a proper platform. Let me get back to the issues that have been called here. Enough about the organization and president. What we have seen here, we are showcasing a proof of concept. And a proof of concept is when we go and do something at a smaller scale to make sure that we draw some lessons and to ensure that when we move this to scale, there are certain things that we have learned and we have perfected. What do I mean when I say we need to take a proof of concept to scale? Because a pilot is a pilot. It doesn't benefit so many people. It's going to be at a macro scale in a village or location, so those who will benefit are those that are at that location. When we talk about scaling, there are three things that we need to consider. The first one is scaling up. By scaling up, I mean that the evidence that we've generated here need now to talk to policies and regulations. How can we formulate the approaches and things that we are calling them tools here better? And we need to scale out. Scaling out, we mean that new geographies need to benefit from this intervention. And also, we need to make sure that we are impacting greater number of people. Number three, we need to scale deep. This is very, very relevant for the university. By scaling deep, I mean that we need to change the relationship. We need to change how we do things. We need to change behaviors and perceptions. But while we are doing that, we need to observe local cultural norms and beliefs. That said, let me come back to the lodge. We have heard about the song. From my side, there are 4 things that I want to talk about. That a song can deliver 4 things amongst many. The first one is that it can build a group identity. Number 2, it can stir strong emotions. Number 3, it can engage the audiences of those people that we wish to reach. And number 4, we can amass people to take action. I will repeat this one. A song can amass people to take action. For those 4 things, I also appreciate the contribution from Dr. Mwen by saying that music can change the world. That was what it was. So to my good friend and colleague, Dr. Mwen, we talk a lot. So let me urge you to say what we have witnessed here is a success of a pilot. Previous speakers here have spoken about that they've implemented during the pandemic. So my plea is that after seeing this good work, let's continue to deepen this work here. Let's continue to make sure that other people are benefiting from this success story. So what do I mean by that? If I go to KwaZulu Natal, they will say, Fagimali Uzobona. So coming now towards the end, I've spoken about the second part of my intervention, which will be to talk about the MOU that FANRPAN is going to conclude with the University of Venda. The MOU that we're going to sign, Dr. Tamelini, Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Venda, is a second generation memorandum of understanding. The first MOU was signed by my predecessor, Prof. Lindwa Majeles here at the University of Venda by Prof. Pat. That was back 13th of February 2009. To qualify why we need to renew this MOU, the way we have been doing things was of more ad hoc in nature. What we want to do now through this new generation of the Memorandum of Understanding is to ensure that we are doing things in a very structured manner. And I urge you that jointly, in this structured manner, we can provide the much needed independent and robust research-based evidence, both from applied where the university is coming from the policy side where we do policy research and analysis, and inform what we call policy processes. And doing that, we need to be proactive in making sure that we are co-creating with those that are supposed to benefit from the research, consulting with the local leadership. We also need to co-implement. Those that are benefiting from our interventions must be part of the implementation process. Normally we implement and move away. What we are trying to entrench here also is that we need to also go back to those interventions that were implemented to co-monitor, evaluate, and learn with the communities. This is the crux of the MOU that we are going to conclude. But to also emphasize that the collaboration between Vhembe and FANRPAN is based on the premise that university is designed to generate evidence, but it does not have a strong convening power. So we are bringing the comparative advantage of convening power to make sure that the research evidence that the university is generating finds its way to influence policy and decisions. Research outputs are research outputs sitting on the shelf, but they need to be used out there. Coming now to conclude, and then I would have got to put Prof. Francis here on the spot. We are finalizing either on the 5th or the 6th of July to launch a book. Me, Prof. Francis, and others, we have co-edited a book. The book is titled Development Practice in Eastern and Southern Africa, Lived Experiences from the Trenches. The first workshop was held here and sponsored by the University of Venda. Now I am glad to come back here and say, now using Springer Publishing House, the book is out. We will be sharing the link for those who are able to download the book and enrich their knowledge in terms of what are the challenges development practitioners are facing out there, and what is it that they've learned, and what are the propositions that they want to put forth to make sure that we do things better to benefit the majority. Let me finish by saying that I see the banner here saying Univen is celebrating 40 years in 2022. I'm likely to be a few years older than the university. However, my experience when I reach 40, I've learned that life begins at 40. So the university must start living. I thank you so much.
Thank you, leadership. Director.